What makes a great comic shop? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the community? Is it the selection of comics? And when should you leave your comic shop if it's not providing the stuff that you're looking for? Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content and if you love me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, guys, you came to the right place. Yes, guys, subscribe to the channel if you find this video informative. I thought this would be a good one to do just because recently I've been getting a lot of comments in the comment section on videos on how certain shops are not getting certain comic books, and they're making the hard decision on should I leave my shop or not. And I've been recommending to people, we'll see and find out if your shop can actually order you these comic books. And so this is what sparked the idea of what makes a good comic shop. Do you just go to it for the convenience? And when is it time to actually leave the place, right? So let's talk about some of the things that makes a really good comic shop, all right? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the atmosphere of the shop, right? You know, I remember some shops going into them and these places are just absolute dumps. They're trash. And yet the community inside, the people inside, the employees inside is so friendly and so knowledgeable, it totally makes the shop. And even though the place doesn't look that great, if you have people that show up and you can talk comics all day, man, sometimes that's just worth it in itself, right? So really good. I mean, my shop, Comic Central, they do a great job at that. We can talk for comics for hours if I had the time. But you want friendly and knowledgeable staff. That's one of the things that you want. They should be passionate about comics, and they should provide, you know, helpful recommendations towards the comic books that you want. Does your shop actually have that? You know, that makes a big deal. If you sat there and you were a new reader and you said, hey, I want something that might be really good right now. I've been out of comics for about 2 years. They should be able to recommend that to you. If they just sit there and say, check out new Spider-Man, I don't think they know what they're talking about, right? Now, the shop also should be inviting. Is it a nice looking shop? Now, I made the example before as there was a shop that might have been a dump, but the staff and the community and everybody that was inside was really nice. So kind of trumped that other thing, right? But sometimes you want you want an inviting space, because when you walk into the shop, you don't want to feel overwhelmed, or you don't want this place to be dumpy looking, or you feel like you have to move back issues after back issues in order to get to the stuff that you want to look for. So you want to make sure that it's comfortable and inviting. Does your shop have that? Right? Are you willing to overlook that? Sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes we only have one shop. Some places don't even have comic shops and they're forced to order their comics online. Next, does your shop offer community type of events? So for instance, a lot of shops do have free comic book day events, right? Actually, most shops should have free comic book day. But based off of some of your guys' comments in the past, I was told that some shops don't even offer free comic book day. That's a little bit rough. This is an event for not only for, I would say, us as the veteran readers, but for new readers too, to get people into comics. It's such an integral part. Also, there's Batman Day getting ready to come out. There's the Halloween event that gets ready to come out. So does your shop offer those things to the community? So it's really, really good. Now, here's a big thing. Product selection, right? Obviously, what does your shop have when it comes to the titles? They should have a wide variety of titles for you to choose from. I would think that most shops would have the big two, right? Now, recently in my daughter's dance competition that I went to a shop in Orlando that was a bar and a comic shop. They had a lot of the new comic book day books, but could you believe that they didn't have a regular a regular, what's the word I'm looking for, that they don't always get in Spider-Man or Batman on a regular basis. They only bring it in for the subscribers. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe that. So they did not have all of the books. I can totally understand some independent comic books because not all indies sell, right? And I would say that the shops are taking a risk at some of these indies. So if you want the indies, let your shop know, right? So if you find your shop not having a certain amount of titles and you're thinking about going somewhere else, before you do that, check out the service that they offer. Say, hey, can you guys order me this particular comic book so I don't have to go elsewhere? And usually what they should do is they should do that for you. New releases, kind of just talked on that, right? They should get most of the new releases unless they know there's a title that doesn't sell or they know their audience. But again, if you want that title, find out if your shop can order it for you, and then you can put it on your regular pull list, and then you don't have to miss out. Another example, my shop also never carries an issue of Savage Dragon. I am the only one in the store that gets it. But I asked them to pull it for me, and they get it for me each and every month. The next thing is going to be back issues and collectibles, right? What does your shop have to offer? These days, we know that when it comes to comic book shops, they just can't survive on their own. Comic book shops do not sell comics like they used to. Think about it. Comics back in the day used to sell millions of copies of comic books. Now, a good copy or a good run on a comic will sell maybe 80,000 copies, 90,000 copies. A new hot series might sell 100,000 copies, but nowhere back in the day where it was selling millions and millions of copies. Those days are over, so comic shops have to find another way to actually pay the rent. So they should offer other things. Do they offer Pokemon play? They offer Magic the Gathering play? Do they offer all those types of different things? Do they offer pop figure sales, action figure sales, all those different things, so it keeps them in business? All right, so that is something that they should have these days. Otherwise, I think they're going to go under. Another thing is customer service. How is the customer service at your shop? You know, sometimes the customer service is probably the number one priority, because if you have another shop in your area and they don't provide great customer service along with that passion that I talked to about earlier, then it's a shitty shop, in my opinion, right? The staff, again, should be knowledgeable. They should be able to assist, and they should be willing to go out of your way because you're spending your hard-earned cash on those comic books, right? So, very important for customer service. My area has quite a few shops. I have probably at least 3 different shops I can go to at any point in time. Yes, my shop is the closest to me, but those guys offer great customer service. I always say it on every single video. They always go out of their way to have a conversation with me and the others in the shop as well, not just me, and they're very knowledgeable on their stuff. So make sure the customer service is great. I could go to the other competitive shops over there, but their customer service is not nearly the way my shop is, because it's a small, intimate shop. All right. What is your shop's return and exchange policy? This could be a tricky one, okay? If you have a comic book that might be damaged and you didn't realize it when you purchased it off the rack, will they exchange it for you? I want to know that in the comments below. Recently, I did buy a Transformers variant, and I found out that it had a tick on it, and I didn't realize it when I picked it up. And I brought it back to the shop, and I said, hey guys, look at this damage on this comic. I'm like, is there any way I can exchange it for another one? And they said, absolutely, Mike, you're more than welcome to do that. And I think that's great customer service. They could say, tough shit, you already bought it, you walked out the door with it, and that's it. You didn't notice it before, right? Does your shop offer an exchange policy even if you read a story and you don't like it, right? Sometimes that might happen. My shop may not do that all the time, But when I first started going there and I first started reading Walking Dead, the owner said, Mike, read this. I guarantee you like it. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. So what kind of return and exchange policy does your shop have? The next thing is rewards programs. A lot of you guys tell me that your shop offers discounts, stamps, things like that. I know my shop offers a stamp program where whatever, I think $8 in reading material that you buy on new comic books, they give you a stamp, right? And then that stamp, once it's full, it's worth $8. You can pile up your stamps, use as many as you want at any time. So for example, I currently have like 9 of those stamps saved up. So whenever I want, I can cash them in all at once and save myself $72 on comic books. Does your shop have that, right? All right. So let's try out this thing. Does your shop have a trade-in program? So for instance, when you go to the shop and you want to get rid of your old comic books, do they take those old comic books? Do they give you money for those comic books? Do they give you store credit for those comic books towards new purchases? That's what a trade-in program has, or that's what it is, okay? So does your shop offer that as well? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think that makes a difference if you should bail out on your comic shop if they don't, because they only have so much room. Just like you, they can only keep so much inventory. What's the subscription service at your shop? Do they offer one? Right? And if they do, make sure you honor that subscription service, because that is a service that they do for you. You sit there and you say, I want this on my pull. I want Batman on my pull. I want Spider-Man on my pull. I want Transformers on my pull. I want Rogue Exodus on my pull. And before you know it, you got like 20 titles in your pull. Make sure you pick up those titles, okay? So if they have a subscription service, it's great because you can get those comic books on hold, right? And you don't have to be at the shop first thing at the morning, because those books are on hold for you. But honor that service. Make sure you pay for those books, because what happens is then that comic shop eats that inventory. So please pick up your comics. They provide a service for you. You honor that service, okay? And if they don't have that service, is it worth still going to your shop, right? I don't know. You would have to fight other people, okay? Then custom orders. So this is what I talked about earlier. I talked about if there is a particular comic book that they don't have on the rack or they ran out of, go to the person. Don't be shy. Sit there and say, hey, can I get the second issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I heard it was great and I don't see any on the rack. And if it's reorderable, they should be able to get it for you as long as you pick that comic up. If you don't earn that trust with the comic shop, they won't do that stuff for you, okay? So make sure you earn the trust, and if you do, they'll bend over backwards for you. They will. You'll establish a great relationship with the shop. So after all those talking points, after all those things that we discussed right now, what does your shop have and what doesn't it have? Does this open your eyes to saying, man, should I go to a different comic shop? And if there's not another one to go to, should you switch to online ordering? I don't know. This just kind of opens your eyes and lets you see what there is, right? If I could say one thing about my comic shop that I wish they had more of, is I would say that I wish they had more back issues. They have a back issue section and it has a lot of titles, but they don't have a ton of the key issues, right? And I get it. Space is at a minimum and they can only carry so much. And whenever they do have good issues, they keep them behind the counter, and I try to get one or two when they're available, right? But what I love about my shop is that it's very intimate. Everyone really goes out of the way to help everybody at the shop, and I will go to it as long as they are in business. So guys, I want to know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, especially after your comments and after I say in every single video, support your local comic shops. This is the stuff you should be looking for when you want a good comic shop. So guys, again, comments are always welcome. If you love the content, there's more content right here for you to click on. And of course, guys, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, read those comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.